ago, a company called Sweet Treats Limited reached out asking if I could design them a brand for a new unreleased product. After weeks of strategizing, designing and tweaking, here's the story of how I created the brand Scoff, an on-demand brownie delivery service. Wednesday, the 1st of June. So this morning I had a call with a client and I am super excited about this project. So I've now created a mood board to show the creative direction. So the main influences when creating this were the business's target audience and the competitors. Now to send over to the client and wait for their approval. Monday, the 6th of June. Over the weekend, I received the go-ahead from the client about the creative direction of the brand, meaning today I can start designing. First up is designing the logo type. Now we are pretty clear on the typography direction thanks to the mood board, which includes bubbly, thick and bold fonts that connect and bounce. This is supposed to mimic how your cheeks look when you scoff your face. Think of a squirrel with two nuts in their mouth. So that is basically what I'm trying to show through typography. So I'm gonna head over to Envato Elements, the sponsor of today's video, to source some similar fonts. The font is secured and this one caught my eye the most as it's bubbly thick and fits with the direction that we are looking to create for this brand. So I'm going to play around with the letter placement and I kind of like the ideas of the letters touching one another to create tension, as the word scoff is uncomfortable and kind of squished like food within your mouth. So to do this, I'll outline the font by pressing Command Shift and O, and then to ungroup with the shortcut Command Shift and G. So then I can easily move these letters around with the selection tool. Now I'm sure on the font, I'm going to work on some different concepts by tweaking the letters and the arrangement. I will check back in once I have something to work with. Here's the concepts that I've come up with so far. Now something I figured out whilst doing this is that the typography is very thick. Now if I want the letters overlapping one another, there has to be enough space between them so that the word is readable. So like this example here, it is way too squished, making it hard to see what the word says. I also don't think that the outline logo type is a strong enough concept as it takes away from the weight and tension. So what I'm going to do is continue to work with this concept right here, which has a really good balance. Okay, so next we're going to start customizing this, and there are two things I normally use for creative inspiration. The first, the mood board, and in this case I really like the A and B on this image and how this connects. And then the second is brainstorming words that relate to the business name or the service that they provide. This helps with ideas, and with this project it got me thinking of the mouth and words related to that. And that's how I came across the uvula, and as Google describes it, the little fleshy hanging ball in the back of your throat. I can predict that you probably just swallowed, and I'm going to be using this for inspiration when designing the logo type. So the C and the O grab my attention the most, as the bottom of the C goes up and connects with the O, which is already there, and we can connect these two letters. So I am using the pencil tool to adjust the C first. The top of the C already has a really nice dangle, which helps with the look I'm going for. So I am just dragging the pencil tool on the path that's already there, changing the shape of the letter, and then just returning back to the original path. Now to make the C and the O look like they're connected to one another, I am just using the pencil tool to kind of draw an extension onto the C, so then it flows nicely up into the O. Now this can be quite fiddly, but the great thing about this is that you can just keep drawing over the path until you're happy. I think this is kind of working. I just want to make sure that that lines up with the O. I think we need to thicken up this little bit of path here. It is kind of looking a bit too busy right now, and obviously we've got different thicknesses, so I think I'm going to grab the eraser tool and actually just chop up part of this O. So then it will create a kind of starting point from the C and then an end point to the O, and kind of just break up the type. I'm just going to adjust the bottom of the O with the pencil tool, and that is actually looking pretty nice. So if you're wondering why I'm kind of designing in black and white and why I always start off my projects like this, it is because all of my focus, that little tricky bit there, is on the spacing, sizes, placement and readability, meaning I'm not getting distracted by colors, which keeps the design very clean and minimal. So that is looking quite good, and the last thing that I'm going to do is probably unite these with the Pathfinder tool. Go click on that and the unite option, and then I'm going to grab the smooth tool, which is basically just going to refine any of those rigid lines that are not quite right and just make this super smooth. So the logo type is complete, and just to be transparent, it did take me a good 3 hours to get it done as I kept tweaking and trying other concepts. But to keep this video at a reasonable duration, I haven't shown that. I am happy with how the logo type is looking as it's portraying the right emotion and message. Funny enough, one of the audiences that this business is trying to target is pretty much me, which makes this whole design process a bit more straightforward. And I think their targeting is on point because brownies are my absolute favorite. Wednesday, the 8th of June. So today we start adding in some color. So in the mood board, colors have already been strategically chosen and tested, which include the browns to show the gooey and fudgy brownie, orange to create that comfort that food brings, blue to show the trust, and then cream to contrast against the brown. So I have added the color to the logo and made sure that the colors work on the different backgrounds, and it is really starting to come to life now. Now we can move on to designing some illustrations. Now, not every brand needs these, but because Scoff is playful, it fits really well. Plus, illustrations can be really advantageous when trying to build brand awareness. Now, I already have a few ideas that involve the mouth, so let's get designing. Okay, we are back with the pencil tool and my mouse to freehand the look of this mouth. Now, because it doesn't need to be perfectly symmetrical, using this pencil tool is going to be perfect for this task. I am starting with some lips and I kind of got like a vision in my head of an open mouth and then some teeth showing. So I've got the base, but it is looking a little wonky right now. I need to just add a little more to the right to open this mouth up a little, and that kind of works. That works quite nicely. I think we'll just get rid of the stroke, put that down a little, and then I'm going to add a layer behind this mouth, just draw that behind and add a little bit of color to this, and then we will send this to the back so that the teeth then can sit between these two layers. So onto the teeth, I am gonna make these curved so that it doesn't turn into like a crazy monster mouth, not the feeling that we want to create for this brand. So I want them to be a little wonky and imperfect. So to do this, I'm gonna make sure that the teeth are all different lengths and sizes. So we're gonna do the exact same for the bottom set. I'm just making sure that these are kind of similar to the top set. We'll join this back up and then we will send that to the back. And that looks quite cool, to be honest. Okay, so I want to just add some depth in here. So we could put a tongue in here and change this color to something darker and send this behind the teeth. That works quite well. Just change that little shape of it. It's a bit of a wonky mouth, but I kind of like it's a bit off. And then we'll add a circle at the back to symbolize the throat, which then helps with adding in that depth that I'm looking for. I can now add some of the brand colors to the mouth, and I'm going to use the eyedrop tool, which is pressing the letter I for the shortcut. So some brown lips, the inside of the mouth can go light brown. Let's do an orange tongue and then a darker brown for the throat. And then lastly, we have got some cream teeth. Now this is looking so good, and using the colors together here has reassured me that the color palette works really well together. It is strong and the colors complement each other really nicely. Okay, so after creating that illustration, I think I'm gonna go ahead and create a few more to give the brand variety. Wish me luck. Okay, so 3 more illustrations have been drawn in the same style and they look so damn good. It is making me so excited about this project. So now I'm gonna create a brand pattern. So I'm gonna go to Object, Pattern, Make, and then I'm just gonna play around with the spacing on this grid. I think I'm gonna move these mouse over slightly just because they are looking too inline and too repetitive. I feel like there is just too much space, so what can we do? Let's grab the pencil tool. I think what I'm going to do is draw some brown squares and kind of make it look like the mouths have been scoffing their face, munching away on brownies and creating a right mess. So these squares kind of represent crumbs, and just add in that playful side that I feel like is missing from this brand pattern. And already it is just making it seem like really fun and really playful. So that was a great idea. Right, let's press done at the top and create our swatch. I find having like a pattern and illustration super useful when it comes to product packaging, which of course this brand is gonna need. See what this swatch looks like. Oh, the pattern is looking so good. Tuesday, the 28th of June. Okay, so it has been a while since I checked in with you about this project, so let me give you a quick update. After designing the illustrations, I then went back to create the other logo variations. Then I moved on to identifying some complementary fonts for the brand, which they can use on their website, social media, and packaging. On the 24th, I then started to put together a brand presentation ready to show the client. For this, I created a photography direction and created some mock-ups so they could see the brand in action. Then just Just yesterday, I received feedback via the client portal. Overall, they liked the direction and voice of the brand and especially liked the logo type. But they did feel as though something was missing when it came to the illustrations. So to ensure I understood what changes they required, we jumped on a call to discuss, and here we are ready to jump back into Illustrator and put the finishing touches onto this brand. So the client said that the illustrations felt lackluster, they weren't as playful as they had imagined, and felt like just something was missing. And at a second glance, I kind of agree with them. So I've had a big brainstorming session and I think I may have come up with a solution. So I can put these mouths onto square shapes that resemble brownies and turn them into characters for this brand. Let's get to work and focus on one of the mouths first. So I'm thinking the mascot won't have any eyes or facial features. This way the mouth will be the main feature on the character, showing the importance to the mouth. So I am gonna grab the rectangle tool, drag this out and send this to the back so the mouth is at the front, and then I'm going to press N for the shortcut for the pencil tool, and I'm going to start misshaping this box, giving it a really imperfect feel, because when you get a batch of brownies and you slice them up, they are never the perfect size. So we're trying to get this feeling of the box. Now that is actually looking quite good with the mouth on top. What I think I might do is actually add some hair. So I'm going to add like a zigzag on top of this head just to emphasize that this is a character's head. We'll add a stroke and turn the cap so that it is nice and rounded. Do you know what? I actually really like this. I feel like we are onto a winner. Okay, I'm now gonna go ahead and adjust the other mouths to fit in with the style, and I will check back in once I'm done. Oh my God, I think we may have done something here. I am giving myself a huge round of applause for coming up with this idea. These illustrations fit so nicely with the brand. Turning them into characters has created that playful side that I think may have been missing. Let's hope the client likes this. Friday, the 1st of July. After making the changes to the illustrations on Tuesday, I updated the brand presentation document and resent this to the client. After a few days of waiting, they came back and said they were really happy with the changes that were made and signed the project off. From there, I packaged up the files and delivered them to the client via the Notion client portal. So now that means I can show you the final brand. The best way to do that? Mockups, which I sourced from the sponsor of this video, Untitled Elements. They're currently offering a 7-day free trial, so if you want to check them out, click the link in the description. Anyway, meet Scoff, scrumptious brownies delivered to your door. You've just seen how I work with the client, but I didn't show you the system I use that makes communicating with the client throughout the project an ease. That's why you need to watch this video right here, where I take you through my client portal in Notion. I'll see you over there.